seeing a larger paycheck in 2024. We're breaking down how much of a bump in pay minimum wage workers are going to see on both sides of the river.
The new year means changes to gun ownership in the state of Illinois. We're live in Belleville with a big deadline that'll impact assault weapon owners.
It's tragic, obviously. We hate to see his life taken from him so soon.
A 16-year-old is killed in Lincoln County. The events, police say, led up to the deadly shooting.
And in weather, it is a cloudy start. Very quiet week ahead. We'll have details on how cool it will be.
Plus, new year, new healthier you. The events Missouri State Parks are holding today that'll get you up off the couch and moving.
This is Today in St. Louis, focused on you.
We begin on this Monday morning with a live look at Edwardsville, where things are still very quiet.
Very. Yes.
All the revelers at home right now sleeping it off, probably.
Probably.
It's also a day off from work, too, so a lot of folks are thinking, you know what? I'm going to wait for the sun to come up and wake up around noon. That sounds good.
Not even a
Good morning, everybody, and a Happy New Year. I'm ready now.
And I am Sydney Sarth. I'm in for Michelle Lee. Happy New Year to everybody
Happy New
here.
Year. Happy
And
New
everyone
Year.
behind the scenes working on Today in St. Louis.
Yes.
Happy to start off the year with you guys. We have
me too.
Paul
Absolutely.
Cook, who is starting off your morning with a look at the roads, and then Jim Castillo's in this morning for Anthony with a look at the forecast. Hey, Jim.
I'm glad. It's always fun to come in and see you guys, and
Yeah.
because we never get to see each other.
Yeah.
You know.
Working those different
And-
shifts.
Yeah, good energy, always good energy. So let's check in with the weather. And, you know, it's quiet, thank goodness, because last week was a little busy with those snow showers from time to time. And not a big deal with that. We weren't thinking that there was going to be a big deal with it. And thank goodness that there wasn't. Of course, kids were upset because they didn't get to go sledding, but some areas did have areas of snow and you know, it did stick around for just a brief second. But today it's cloudy and then mostly cloudy to partly sunny this afternoon. High temperatures in the 30s to around 40 degrees. And of course, much more weather for you coming up. But Paul, you have been a little bit busy. Has it calmed down a little bit?
Yeah, it has, definitely. What you're going to be seeing out there is just a few vehicles on the side of the road. You never know what happens there, but care, caution, that's what you need when you're out there. I wanted to show you 4 different cameras, though, as we can kind of tool around at what you are seeing there. You're at 141 in Manchester, 255 and 55 in South County. And look at this, you're moving just so well, even 270 at 70 near the casino, which I'm sure was very crowded last night, and maybe there's some folks out there right now trying to make the room stop moving. Well, we're going to keep this map moving. You have a little bit of construction at 55 in Arsenal and an accident. Poplar Street Bridge, though, moving, but 44 not flying right along. Be careful out there. Another ticket traffic soon.
We're following some breaking news right now. Japan has issued a tsunami warning after multiple strong earthquakes on this New Year's Day. The massive tremors, seen right there, shaking the camera, happened in the sea near the central part of the country. One reached a magnitude of 7.6. People along the entire west coast of Japan are being told to head to higher ground as soon as possible. Officials are warning of waves reaching as high as 16.5 feet.
Wow.
Well, locally, the new year means new laws. In fact, 327 new laws in the state of Illinois took effect at midnight. And this morning, we are breaking down 2 of those laws.
Our Mercedes McKay has more on the minimum wage hikes on both sides of the river. But first, we're going to start with our Megan Kernan. She has a deadline for some gun owners. Good morning, Megan. Happy New Year.
Good morning, Sydney and Rennie. While today is the beginning of a new year, it is also the deadline for Illinois residents to register any assault weapons with state police if they were owned prior to January of last year. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker signed the Protect Illinois Communities Act last January, hours after the Illinois House passed it. And today is the deadline to register your weapons with Illinois State Police. You'll do that by completing an endorsement affidavit through your firearm owner's identification card account. Now, you'll have to submit the serial numbers to your weapons, high-capacity magazines, and other devices. The Protect Illinois Communities Act also bans the sale of several types of semi-automatic weapons. Rifles will not be allowed to accommodate more than 10 rounds, with a 15-round limit for handguns. workers. Now, coming up in our next half hour, how the law has faced a number of lawsuits since it passed last January. Now, the new year means minimum wage workers on both sides of the river will soon be earning more cash. Our Mercedes McKay is live along the Del Mar Loop with how much of a raise workers are getting and how this could impact business workers. Good morning, Mercedes.
Good morning, Megan. Happy New Year. And this is just a great way to kick off the new year for workers across the bi-state. So we're live right now in the Del Mar Loop, which is home to many restaurants and shops, a lot of local businesses that will be positively impacted by these minimum wage hikes, which take effect starting today. So let's break down what this will all look like. Here in Missouri, the minimum wage is increasing from $12 to $12.30. Across the river in Illinois, the hourly rate is jumping up from $13 an hour to $14 an hour. Now, both states are way above the federal minimum wage, which remains at $7.25 in the new year. Illinois and Missouri are part of 22 states where wages are increasing in 2024. For Missouri, the increase comes after a proposition was passed back in 2018. The measure ensured the Show Me State's minimum wage would increase by 85 cents per hour each year through 2023. Now, for tipped employees in Illinois, like our restaurant servers across the Illinois state, their minimum wage will also increase from $7.80 to $8.40. So good news for them as well. Coming up in the next half hour, I'll tell you where Illinois ranks when it comes to their minimum wage in the Midwest and whether or not the bi-state is keeping up with inflation. Live in the Del Mar Loop, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
Thank you, Mercedes. Now, as Mercedes just reported, the bi-state is among 22 states increasing the minimum wage today. Washington State continues to have the highest minimum wage in the United States at $16.28 an hour. Hawaii will have the largest increase, raising its minimum wage by $2 to $14 an hour. And Washington, D.C. will have the highest hourly minimum wage in the country at $17.05 starting on July the 1st.
Another law taking effect in the land of Lincoln will impact the use of e-cigarettes. Now, e-cigarettes or vapes are now banned from being used in indoor public places. This is an extension of the Smoke-Free Illinois Act, which banned indoor smoking back in 2008. Vapes will also not be able to be used within 15 feet of an entrance of a public building. Now, we have a breakdown of even more laws taking effect in Illinois today. All you have to do is look for this story under the As Seen on TV section of our website, KSDK.com, or on the 5 on Your Side app.
Today marks a pivotal time in U.S. history. On January 1st of 1863, President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation declaring, quote, that all persons held as slaves henceforward shall be free. Today, there is a celebration that will be held at the Greater Mount Carmel Missionary Baptist Church on Euclid. The service celebrates the progress made in the fight for civil rights and equality. It starts at 10 o'clock this morning.
All right, weather-wise, boy, 2023 ended up the second warmest in St. Louis history. So let's go through that. You know, number one was 2012, not too long ago. And really, most of these have happened within the past couple of decades. Number two, tied for two, is 2016. And then 2017 also was very warm. So we continue with these really warm, at least Decembers. But it does look like January, we're starting to get colder. And maybe on the 10th, 11th, 12th, we'll get even colder with more snow chances in here is the way it's looking. So it's either going to be cold and dry or maybe a little bit of snow mixing in. But so downtown St. Louis right now, it's cloudy, eventually partly sunny as we get into the daytime, too, mostly cloudy, but some sunshine mixing in and high temperatures in the 30s to around 41 degrees. Much more on our weather forecast coming up in just a bit. Sydney.
All right, thanks so much, Jim. Pushing for a more peaceful 2024, the group who remembered the lives lost to gun violence in the year 2023.
From a bear escape at the St. Louis Zoo to Wainwright's goodbye, we take a look back at the top stories that impacted you.
Plus, Rennie, it may be time to lace up those hiking boots and get ready to hit the trail. It's a new challenge that'll have you exploring a nature reserve.
Of course, you're assuming that I have hiking boots.
Yep, go buy some first, and then lace them up.
A live look at the square there in Belleville. Oh, a few people up and about this morning, but look at that. The holiday display still remains up. How long are you going to keep your tree up?
Probably until summertime. Yeah.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, I
We'll
don't
be
know.
right back.